Have you ever noticed that something you once loved suddenly feels empty? A hobby that used to excite you now feels like a chore. The game you couldn't stop playing sits untouched. The dream you worked so hard for no longer gives you the same feeling. And then you start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? The truth is, there may be nothing wrong with you. Your brain is simply changing. Let's understand why. When you first discover something new, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. People often call dopamine the pleasure chemical, but that's not entirely true. Dopamine is actually the chemical of anticipation. It makes you excited about what's coming next. That's why your first guitar lesson feels magical. Your first business idea keeps you awake all night. Your first workout fills you with motivation. Everything feels fresh because your brain loves novelty. But here's the catch. The brain adapts surprisingly fast. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. What once felt exciting slowly becomes normal. It's not because the activity became worse. It's because your brain became familiar with it. The excitement fades, even if your passion hasn't completely disappeared. Another reason you lose interest is progress. That sounds strange, doesn't it? When you're a beginner, every small improvement feels rewarding. You learn quickly. You see visible results. But as you become better, progress naturally slows down. Instead of improving every day, you improve every month. Your brain mistakes slower progress for failure. So motivation begins to disappear, not because you're incapable, but because growth has entered a more difficult stage. Ironically, this is exactly where most people quit. There's another hidden reason. Your life changes, but your interests don't always change with it. The things you loved at 16 may not satisfy the person you've become at 25. Your priorities evolve. Your responsibilities grow. Your identity changes. Sometimes losing interest isn't failure. It's simply a sign that you've outgrown an old version of yourself, and that's completely normal. But there's one more reason that's becoming increasingly common today. Constant overstimulation. Every day, your brain is flooded with endless entertainment, short videos, notifications, games, streaming, social media. Each one gives your brain tiny bursts of dopamine. Over time, ordinary activities start feeling boring. Reading a book feels slow. Learning a skill feels difficult. Even your favorite hobby struggles to compete with instant digital rewards. It's not that your hobby became less enjoyable. It's that your brain became accustomed to constant stimulation. So, how do you bring your passion back? First, stop waiting to feel motivated. Motivation usually comes after action, not before it. Second, accept that boredom is part of mastery. Every expert has gone through long periods when nothing felt exciting. The people who succeed aren't always the most motivated. They're simply the ones who keep showing up. Third, add novelty instead of quitting completely. Change your routine. Try a different approach. Learn from someone new. Challenge yourself in a different way. Sometimes your passion doesn't need replacing. It just needs refreshing. Finally, remember this. Losing excitement doesn't always mean you've lost your purpose. Sometimes it simply means your brain has adapted. Sometimes it means you're growing. And sometimes it's a reminder to reconnect with the reason you started in the first place. Passion isn't something you find once and keep forever. It's something you build again and again, one small step at a time. So if you've lost interest in something you once loved, don't assume the story is over. It might just be the beginning of a deeper chapter. Because real passion isn't about always feeling excited. It's about continuing, even when the excitement fades.